first update. Obviously, I'm not in my usual location. My family and I have moved. So we were in Las Vegas, Nevada, where my wife was stationed. She was in the Air Force. And last month, she retired after 20 years of honorable Air Force duty. So huge shout out to my wife, Maria. Just a phenomenal job getting through 20 years of military service. We actually both entered the Air Force at the exact same time back in 2006. And we both came in as linguists and went to the Defense Language Institute in Monterey, California to be airborne cryptologic linguists. I went for Arabic. She originally went for Hindi. And then she went back a second time for Farsi, which is what they speak in Iran. So really crazy job. It was fun. She deployed to different locations and fought in the wars. So some crazy stories I could tell you sometime about things she encountered. But yeah, and then so we were linguists. That's how we started out. And then I got out of the military. We got married, and then I was basically just following her around wherever she was stationed. And she eventually reclassed into emergency management. So that's basically FEMA for the Air Force, so emergency preparedness. So that's what she did the rest of the time that she was in the military. And huge shout out to her for being an amazing airman and getting through that. Some highs and lows definitely throughout that, as any career does, especially in the military. You've got some places you don't want to be stationed, or leadership who, you've got good leadership and bad leadership. So that can be difficult. And she did an amazing job. I showed some of her awards earlier. I don't know if you saw those, but she was a high flyer. So she's just the type of person who goes above and beyond, and always shows out and brings credit on the military. So she retired last month, and we were trying to decide where to go from there. Do we stay in Las Vegas? Do we go to Virginia, where her family is? Do we move to Arkansas, where my family is, or what? And it just made sense to move out to Virginia. So we went all the way across the country. They actually flew ahead of me, my wife and my kids. They flew out to Virginia, and I drove our car cross country. And it wouldn't have been that crazy, but I also had to drive my daughter's snake in our car cross country. So that was a little interesting. But yeah, we made it out to Virginia. As you can see, I'm kind of, still getting set up a little bit. But yeah, we're in Virginia. So if I know I've got a bunch of friends in Virginia. I'm meeting up with one of the guys that I went through the Biola Christian Apologetics Masters, meeting up with him next week. So if you're in Virginia and you want to meet up, hit me up. Or if you're in Virginia and you want me to come out to your church and maybe talk apologetics or Christian philosophy or anything like that, I would love to do that. So let me know. So yeah, that's the first big update. We moved from Las Vegas to Virginia. The second big update is, we had to decide, what was my wife going to do? Was she going to continue working, or was she going to stay at home? And she decided, our kids are young, 10, 3, and 1 year old. And she just retired. So she was like, you know what? I want to soak this up as much as possible. So she's going to stay at home with the kids, homeschool them, and I am going to work. Thankfully, I work from home. So, take a bunch of breaks and go hang out with the kids. But yeah, so what this means for me is I'm going to be going full bore into all of my different projects, my business, the stuff I do with Reasonable Faith. You might think this is good or bad, but you're going to be seeing a lot more of me out here. So hopefully that's a good thing. Yeah, so most of you who know me know that I started in the apologetics community with Reasonable Faith, the ministry of Dr. William Lane Craig. I started in 2014 as a volunteer chapter director, and then in 2017 came on staff as the global chapters director and director of translations and transcriptions. Yeah, and so now that my wife has retired, we started to explore what else can I do, and we've come up with some crazy stuff. One of them is I just became Dr. Craig's assistant. Huge shout out to Tim Bayless, who was Dr. Craig's research assistant for years. Has done an amazing job, but the decision was made to allow me to step in this role, and yeah, it's kind of like baptism by fire right now, because Dr. Craig is finishing up his final volume of his systematic philosophical theology, and he's sending me emails pretty much every week that are just lists of books and articles that he needs for his research for this final volume. So that's great. I love it. I had been missing the study and research aspect of this job, so this kind of brings that back for me. I'm super excited about that. Also, we as a ministry brought all of our marketing in-house. We no longer hire outside for marketing, and so I'm on our marketing team. We're going to be, as a team, working on that together, and a bunch of other projects as well, kind of lurking in the background of Reasonable Faith. So very excited about that. The third update is every year there's an annual meeting for the Evangelical Philosophical Society and Evangelical Theological Society. They have a joint meeting conference, and this year it's going to be in Denver in November. Bounces around different locations year to year. So next year it's actually going to be in DC, real near to me, which is great. But yeah, this year it's going to be in Denver, and every year we're going to be putting on, and we have for the past 2 years, we're going to be putting on an apologetics conference immediately after ETS EPS that draws speakers from the larger conference. And this is just a great opportunity, because all these guys are in the same place at the same time to draw top shelf speakers to this apologetics conference and have them teach at a more lay friendly level. So what's interesting about this year's conference is we're partnering with Reasonable Faith because it is Reasonable Faith's 20th anniversary this year. So I was like, oh, we've got to do something for that, and so this conference is going to be titled 20 Years of Reasonable Faith. Dr. Craig obviously headlining, as well as a lot of others. But it's going to be, mostly just a regular apologetics conference, but also a celebration of Dr. Craig's career and the trajectory of Reasonable Faith, and looking forward to the future of the ministry. I'm going to pull up the Eventbrite page here. Let me see if I can do that. Yeah, actually, the registration is already live. So if you are interested in attending this conference in Denver, if you're going to go to one of our conferences, this is the year to do it, because we're kind of going all out. So the Eventbrite page is right here, 20 Years of Reasonable Faith. You could just look that up. We've got the venue, Riverside Church in Denver. And yeah, here are some of the speakers. This is an exclusive for you guys. We've got Dr. Craig, Greg Kokel, William Dembski, Frank Turek. William Dembski is an interesting one. He's the intelligent design guy. That's like the godfather of intelligent design, pretty much. And, he was in the controversy for a long time, and then he kind of got out of that and kind of, went into hiding, I guess, and went into, business. He built businesses and did that. And I will talk about a little bit about that later too. But, I connected with him, and I was like, hey, a lot of people are still interested in what you're doing. So what do you think about speaking at this conference? And he was like, well, I've got this other conference that I usually attend at the same time, but, it seems like a really good idea to get my face back out there to the people who used to follow me for the intelligent design stuff. And so he agreed to come out. So super thrilled to have him. Like I said, Frank Turek, R.T. Mullins, Paul Copan, Rob Bowman, Tom Anderson, Doug Groheis. Doug Groheis, former professor at Denver Seminary, so it's fitting that he's coming out for this apologetics conference in Denver. Tim Stratton, and we've got some other people that we need to add, but it's super exciting. We're going to have this is just going to be one of our biggest conferences so far. So very excited about that. Definitely want to sign up sooner rather than later. We have early registration open. It's cheaper than general admission will be. So now is the time to register. We're also partnering with EPS, the Evangelical Philosophical Society. So that was one of the purposes of these conferences to begin with, was to bring more awareness to them. Very happy to be partnering with them. All right, so that's the third update. Fourth update has something to do with this box. Got a box here. And to open the box, that's nice. All right, what is in here? Bubble wrap. My kids will love me. What we have are a bunch of copies of this book, Debating God's Existence, edited by Andrew Drinkard, forward by Paul Copan, afterward by Joe Schmidt. This is a book that I was the literary agent for. So super thrilled to be connected to this project, and immense job by Andrew Drinkard to put this together. I'm actually going to pull up the Amazon listing on screen here to share with you guys, because I think it's pretty cool. Let me do that. Okay. So yeah, here it is on Amazon. It's available to order. It says free delivery tomorrow by June 30th. I don't know if that's correct, because they were telling me that it wasn't going to be published until July 7th. So maybe you can go ahead and get yours. But yeah, check out this list of contributors: David Baggett, Dan Barker, Robin Collins, Andrew Drinkard, David Enoch, Joe Foley, Philip Goff, and Adam Lloyd Johnson, Rob Coons, Daniel Linford, Alex Malpass, Dolores Morris, Josh Rasmussen, and Ben Watkins. Phenomenal lineup of both theists and atheists. So this is one of those books where you've got theists and atheists coming together to respond to each other's arguments. And it's all about the various arguments for God's existence. What's great about this book, too, is it's based on a debate between Adam Lloyd Johnson and Dan Barker that happened several years ago. And what came out of that was they were very cordial and basically became friends through this experience. And one of the ideas behind the book is that, we need a better level of dialogue between theists and non-theists. And this book is a demonstration in print of civil dialogue between theists and atheists at a very high level. So super thrilled for it. Definitely pick up a copy. Yeah, very, very excited. And the publisher is Erdman's, and I have a whole box full of copies. So I will be giving some copies of this book away. But for those of you who don't want to wait for that, or think you might not win, definitely go pick up a copy. Okay, so that's that update. The final update, this is going to be a short one, I guess, but the final update is one of the most exciting. So you remember I mentioned Bill Dembski, and he was involved in some business projects. One of those projects was developing a publishing company. It's called Inkwell Press. And basically it started because he wanted to develop an editing software that would handle advanced scientific and mathematical notation better. I guess when you use that notation, it's very difficult to get the formatting right in normal programs. And so he and this other guy developed this editing software that, it basically does that really, really well. And so they had this editing software, and they were like, well, why not offer it to other people through a subscription? and publish books. And so he developed this publishing house called Inkwell Press. Now, the interesting thing about that is, they published a few books, largely on intelligent design and a few other things. And they got to thinking about other genres or other categories of books that they could publish in. And they started to explore general apologetics. And they were like, well, maybe we should connect with somebody who is in the field and is well networked there to help us out. And so Bill got in touch with me and we started chatting a bit. And I didn't really know, like, I was totally in. I was like, yeah, whatever I can do to help you guys. And I didn't really know how it was going to work out, but I'm really willing to help out with Inkwell Press. And then he comes back and he just out of the blue asked me, he's like, hey, Tyson, what do you think about setting up and running your own apologetics imprint? And I was floored. Like, when I say that I was brought to tears, I'm not kidding. I had been a literary agent for a couple of years, and the problem with literary agency right now, especially in Christian apologetics, is that number one, traditional publishers don't really want to work with literary agents, and number two, so few projects get through the door. And even if they get through the door, it takes forever. And if they get through the door and it's taken forever, then how much marketing are they really going to help with? Sometimes it's not much at all. So for those reasons, I was just praying about it. I was like, Lord, I really love being a literary agent. I like negotiating contracts for authors, especially Christian authors who, I've seen some things where they get taken advantage of. It's dog eat dog, even in the Christian publishing world. So this was an opportunity for me to help with that, but it was grueling. And I said, Lord, what I would really love to do is cross over from literary agency to publishing. And, within the last month and a half, I got connected with Bill Dembski, and he offered me to set up and run an imprint of my own. And we already have 4 books lined up to come out. The imprint is called Sound Faith Books, and we just launched the website for that. Let me pull this up for you. Shout out to Shane Montz, our designer and graphic designer, website designer. He did a phenomenal job on this. So soundfaithbooks.com is where you can find it. Here you can see the first book we'll be launching is called Contested, Debating the New Testament's Historical Reliability by Bart Ehrman and Mike Licona. This is a book where they go back and forth in dialogue. I don't know that there is another book like that with both of them responding to each other's arguments. But this is just, crazy that we have that. Counterfeit Forgiveness by T.C. Cannon. This is one that I think is going to be in every church because it is so crucial for righting the ship on understanding biblical forgiveness. Basically, the idea is, we have this cultural understanding of forgiveness where it's unconditional. You just forgive someone and there doesn't need to be any sort of repentance or response or attempt at reconciliation from the other party. And TZ calls this therapeutic forgiveness because it's all about you and your healing and your letting go, and that's it. And so that has actually led to a lot of hurt and suffering and continued devastating consequences for people who have been abused, victims of certain circumstances, and it's a corruption of the gospel. It's not the way that God intends for forgiveness with him to be. So very, very amazing book. Endorsement by Elisa Childers and forward by Hillary Morgan Ferrer of Mama Bear Apologetics. So super excited about that. The next book is Dark Apologetics by Shannon Guthrie, Christian Answers to Perplexing Questions about Evil, Spiritual Forces, the Paranormal, and the Occult. Super excited about this book as well. First of all, what an amazing title. dark apologetics. That is phenomenal. A lot of people were like, what is that even about? But yeah, it's about the paranormal, spiritual forces, and the occult. Um, Very good timing for this book too, because we just had the UFO files drop. We had Disclosure Day by Steven Spielberg. A lot of interesting stuff that's related to that. So I think that's a great book. And then we have another one. It's going to be the flagship book for Adam Lloyd Johnson's ministry, Convincing Proof. So he has a ministry called Convincing Proof, and so he's going to write a series of books. The first one is going to be Convincing Proof for God. So very excited about all of these projects. Yeah, and so this is a huge undertaking. I mean, I've never been a publisher before, so this is all new for me. So there's a lot of learning that's going on, but I've got a lot of help on the Inkwell side because as an imprint, we're under Inkwell Publishing Group. So Bill Dembski and his team are helping with everything. And this is going to be, I think, something that really disrupts the way that Christian book publishing is done, because Inkwell's business model is so different. So, number one, royalties are much higher for our authors. Yeah, it's because our overhead is so low. And one of the reasons our overhead is so low is because we don't do print runs. We upload directly to KDP and Ingram Spark. And also, our editing software, Inkwell's proprietary editing software, allows us to get a book out in a fraction of the time that it takes a traditional publisher. So all of those things are contributing greatly to keeping the overhead costs low and allowing us to pass on that extra money to authors. So authors are taken care of, books are getting out faster, and having been connected to the apologetics community for so long, we're going to be able to tap into that community and bring in some of the best talented writers out there. So looking forward to connecting you guys more with that project as we go. Obviously, one of the things that will help us out most is pre-orders when they're available. Ordering a book. You can also gift books like Kindle books on Amazon. So if you want to help us out, if you want to see Sound Faith books thrive, definitely want to help us out by ordering books and maybe gifting books to other people, writing reviews. That's going to be very helpful. And of course, now that I'm on the publishing side, I'm going to be able to get a bunch of cheap books to give away. That is one of the things I love the most, is giving books away. So you'll be seeing a lot more of that as well. I'm super excited about Sound Faith books. Like I said, now that my wife is retired, I'm just adding project after project. So, this is one of those big ones that I think is going to be great. So yeah, that's all as far as updates. So many great things going on, as is our mission at Sound Faith Consulting. Our mission is to glorify God by building the fields of Christian philosophy, theology, and apologetics. And all of these updates that I've shared today definitely go towards that. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any questions or comments, leave them, and I will respond as soon as possible. But yeah, looking forward to all of this. Also, if you see anything like on the registration page for the Sound Faith conference or the Sound Faith Books website, if you see anything that needs to be updated or edited, please let me know. Feedback is super helpful. So yeah. Oh, I almost forgot. Because we're going to be giving books away, I need to let you know how you can enter our giveaway. So if you want to be in the running for giveaways for some of our books coming out of Sound Faith Books, go to the website and click Contact Us. And then it's going to take you to the contact form. Fill out that form, and in the message, just write free. and it will send that to me, and you will be in the running for some free books, which I love to give away. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. Sorry about the muting snafu earlier. But yeah, I think we're squared away now. You'll be seeing me again very soon with more updates and more craziness. So thank you so much. God bless.